I am Michelle Davis Younger. I'm the mayor of the City of Manassas. My connection is directly to Jennie Dean, in that my mother, who's now received her reward and gone to heaven, attended the Manassas Industrial School for the Colored. And so that is a direct connection that I have to Jennie Dean. And to now be mayor in the city where that was is totally amazing. My mother used to talk about staying in, they would say, Carnegie Hall. I don't think they ever realized that they were saying it wrong, but it just stuck. Hearing her talk about how everyone was bused from so far away to Manassas to go to school because that's where they had to go, but as far away as Culpeper and way out. And it was just like family. And so that, to me, is exactly what Manassas is. And that school started it, really, when you see how education was so important, which it is, and that you're willing to travel miles and miles and miles by bus to get it. Amazing stories about, taking home ec class, and that's where, because they were taught that they were going to be maids and work at, household people, and that's where my mom got her skill as a household person, a caretaker, to be able to work in the homes on Grant Avenue in the city of Manassas. That's where, she left school and got her employment there as a maid, scrubbing floors, doing laundry, taking care of folks right in the middle, in the heart of Old Town Manassas, on Grant Avenue. And that all started with her education at Manassas Industrial School. So the stories I would hear were just amazing, how they'd play football. And my mom actually played football. Can you believe that? And so, just all of the fun, and it was, again, family. Everyone was connected. They looked out for each other. And that's what we want to carry forward with our new school. So very exciting, and just personally feel so ingrained in the story and the future. Not only as mayor, but as I wouldn't be if it were not for her and for the fact that Jennie Dean set this school up. It's important for these stories to be remembered and preserved, because the generations going forward don't realize what people had to sacrifice. We hear the stories about, and I would roll my eyes just much like my kids and the kids do today, when you talk about, I had to walk miles, to school. And my dad would tell the story about how they were told they were going to get new buses, and they were so excited. We're going to get buses. We don't have to walk. And all they did was paint old buses and give them to them. But it was still a bus, and they didn't have to walk. And so sharing those stories help you appreciate where you are. You should appreciate the things that we have and where we are at today, and what we can provide for students, because they had to sacrifice so much, and some of them wouldn't see their families for a week. They'd be down here for school, and they wouldn't go back until the weekends. And so that togetherness they would miss out on, but it was because education was the key to success. And so sharing that and seeing how this woman, my mother, I always go back to my mom because that is my example, who went to this school, who was a maid, turned out to be the mother of the mayor of the city of Manassas, the first female mayor. That alone is great. The first person of color to be mayor. So it's not where you start, it's where you finish. And so had that school not been there and those stories been shared, I wouldn't have been inspired to do what I've done. So I try to share it everywhere I go. And so it is important to empower our youth in sharing the stories and the sacrifices that had to be made for us to be where we are, and so that we can appreciate what we have. Knowing the sacrifice that has been made for you to have what you have, a building like what we're getting ready to go into, my parents would never dream of anything like a building like that to go to school in, considering what they had to go to school in and having to walk there. You have buses that will drop you at the front door. The little things like that is so important. So for me, it is just about understanding what you have and what people had to go through to get you to this point. Right time, right place, and right people. It all matters.